Hey, welcome. It's the Kingdom Mentor podcast, soon to change. More on that in a bit. So glad you could join us right now. We got another great interview. You're really going to enjoy this, especially if you're into mental health. But I wanted to say something first. There is a pivot in the house. Check out teresacroft.com. I am pivoting and enjoying every minute of the pivot of more using AI to help faith-based people make money and have a kingdom impact. So that's what we're working on behind the scenes. I say we, I guess it's me and my cat. But I hope you'll stay tuned. Check out teresacroft.com. And of course, I'm still in close alliance with Girl Power Alliance for personal and professional development. So with that, let me just give a warm welcome to my friend who's joining us, Naomi Riley. Hey, Naomi.
Hey, how are you?
It's so great. Now, Naomi is one of those amazing connections that I've gotten since the mastermind. And we were at a mastermind last week, and it was like we were barely within 2 seconds of talking, and we were talking about AI. I love it. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. I'll have her on for another one. But Naomi is someone who is using her wealth to make a difference, her success in a business to make a difference. So,
Mhm.
Naomi, introduce yourself and kind of let's get started. I really want to uncover
Ah,
this and get behind the story of something that is so needed today. So, first of all,
sure.
tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Naomi Riley. I am an owner of Virtue Ventures Consulting. I have helped thousands of business owners and individuals kind of maneuver their way through the pandemic. I worked in the niche tax business and have guided them on the laws for COVID relief. Through that, I have been able to kind of counsel many on their mental health because we all know that the pandemic was a bit of a struggle, right? It
Yeah.
was very, very difficult. In 2017, I was in a car accident and I suffered a brain injury along with other injuries. But it took doctors about 9 months to diagnose what had happened to me. That came with a lot of anger and resentment and frustration just because, the distracted driver that hit me could go on with his life, yet mine was altered for the rest of mine. So that was super frustrating, and, there are many things that have happened in society that we've kind of allowed to happen, with no fault of our own. It's just as we kinda grow and things develop, technology develops, we kinda just go along with it. Well, there's problems that have happened due to this, distracted driving being one. And so when I started a campaign, it started out to be just a distracted driving campaign to help drivers and kids and a lot of individuals kinda understand, like, what are the ramifications of a distracted driving
Wow.
accident, right? So that was in 2017, and I started doing a lot of research. So 3 years of research by talking with judicial officials, neurologists, psychologists, and the list goes on, emergency workers and whatnot. We realized that there was really 10 huge specific problems that we're seeing in our society. So I took that and I put together a Smart Pledge program for students. It
Wow.
takes them through 10 of our country's biggest dilemmas, from distracted driving to discrimination to acts of violence with or without weapons to cyberbullying and bullying, um, human trafficking, domestic violence and assault.
Whoa.
Where
Let me stop you. We got to.
yeah,
I understand that. So you're telling me something devastating happened to you, and
hmm
out of that, such amazing good has come. So I'm going to pull you back. We got to
yeah,
hear the story. I want to hear about that. So you're in the
yes.
midst of this
I'm
anger
in the
towards the
midst of
guy.
this crisis. Yes.
Yeah. So did that just start as you were recovering? First of all, how long? How many months did it take you?
It was about 9 months until they finally diagnosed me. I was in and out
Okay.
of the, rehab hospital many times. I drove myself to the ER many times
So take
thinking I
me
was gonna
through that.
die.
Well, take me through that black hole. Was it just like I mean, what were some of the symptoms and what did that do to you emotionally, mentally?
So, mentally, after I recovered from the accident, or physically, after I recovered from the accident, I looked okay, but I would have these horrible, horrible, head pains to the point where I would want to stab my own eye out
Yeah.
with an object. It was so absolutely awful, and I couldn't there was nothing that could heal the
Oh,
pain that I was feeling, so I would go take myself to the ER probably 1 or 2 times at least a month because I was having these issues going on, and and so they would treat me. They would give me some medications that were not really helping me, right?
but they did not
After
diagnose it. They didn't
it
diagnose.
was not diagnosed. At this time, it was not diagnosed.
Wow.
And so, you know, I would they would get me to a point where it was calm again. And
Okay.
so then I would go back home and work on, my thing, whatever I was doing that day. Um, and I mean, I had a really slow recovery process. It took a long time for me to kind of come back and re-put things together.
What was your
So
recovery process? Was it a mental
I I went through
health?
physical rehab,
Okay. Physical?
mental and cognitive. So
Wow.
even just, moving things and moving my arms the right way, and just, they were encouraging me the whole time, to put sentences together, to remember certain things. I had a really bad concussion.
Oh,
And, people with brain injuries, their brains actually slow down,
yeah.
when you have, a serious injury, and at times, they don't recover.
Yeah.
And, so I wake up every day with gratitude, and I've always
Mm,
done that. And
such a
so
key.
I would always pray
Oh,
before I would go to therapy, "God,
so good.
please give me a reason
Yeah.
for why this happened."
Wow.
And so, all of that therapy, I went through 2 rounds of physical, mental, and cognitive. Then I went to a pain injury clinic. And at that point, I had started praying, and seeing like the gun violence that we're seeing in our society and a lot of different things. And so I just kept saying, Lord, if there's something that I can do to make it right, then please give me guidance to help our next generations, right?
Wow.
And so over that time, I started writing down and researching like what are the major things that are going on in our society.
Yeah.
So you see the gun violence, you see the distracted driving, you see the discrimination, you see all of that. So I thought, wouldn't it be great if there was a place for students, a safe space
Yeah.
where they could come in and they could learn on our national statistics, then they could have programs for each grade level, and
Super.
then they could also access with our smart card. So our smart card is one of the first that's been developed,
It's so
and students are able to go to our website and get all the 800 numbers that they ever need, from, basic 911, 988 to talk to a counselor. Then there's the human trafficking hotline. There is a teen pregnancy hotline. There is the poison control hotline. All of these are accessible at the students, just a push of the
amazing.
button.
Yeah.
So I personally wanted to create a program that was easily duplicatable, that could be
Okay.
done in any single
Smart.
nation. So, I've been working hard on it for the last 3 years, and we came out and put 25 awesome activity books finally together.
Saw one of them. They're mostly awesome. I saw that. You Thank you for sending mine. So once again,
Yeah,
it's like from tragedy to purpose.
yeah, for
Because you were
sure.
successful before this brain injury. So was that hard to get back into even just your own business? I mean,
So,
and
my
then to
business
have
was
this.
different. Yeah, so my business was different, prior to my brain injury.
Okay.
I look at it as I wasn't as smart. I was more like I was just kind of a go with the flow. I was the stay-at-home mom who, raised my 3 kids. I was, involved with the PTO, the PTA, and, so I do look at my brain injury as a blessing now,
Yeah,
not when I was in it. Oh, man, no, not when I was in it. It was the worst thing I'd ever gone through, but,
yeah.
God brings us through,
It's not
these,
like I had
things.
a friend who see if I can remember what she said. We know the verse, all things work for good, but she says all things have God's purpose in them, even the tragedy, even it's funny that you're the second person I've interviewed. I don't know if you met him. What's his name? Ryan. He had a serious injury and he woke up speaking Spanish. And they had to
No, wow.
yeah, they had to totally rewire his brain and everything you're talking about. But once again, from tragedy, now he's speaking and finding stages for people on TED Talk. So I just love
Ah,
to see God's redemption work. I mean,
yes.
so you're 3 years into the mental health for the youth. Is that correct?
Yeah, so as I said, I put 3 years of research into what could
Sure.
make our program work,
Wow.
and over the last year, we put together our programs for students, and our books will be finished within a week, I guess, or uploaded. They're
Awesome.
finished, but they
Okay.
need to be uploaded on our website and
Okay.
then on our app. So, I
And
am working with app developers for
right.
the embassy and things like that. So
Beautiful.
it's been a very big blessing.
And
Um,
and
yeah.
kids always have their phones, and for them to have an app,
Mhm.
this is groundbreaking. So now are people rallying with you and providing some resources and finances this is a major worldwide thing. So how
It
is the
is.
financing of it going?
Well, to be honest with you, I am such a perfectionist with everything. So I funded this whole project from the blessings that I've had with my other business,
So
right?
awesome.
And so I knew how I wanted to see it operate, and so I didn't ask for funding. I didn't look for
Good.
support in the
Yeah.
beginning because I knew exactly what it needed to do to operate. Now, as we move forward, yes, we will be looking for, the governments to come in or, you know, financial support from wherever. But
Yeah.
again, I just had to dot the i's, cross the t's, and make
Good.
sure that it all works perfectly.
Yeah.
So, as once the app is done and the books are on our website, that's where we'll be,
Yeah.
branching out to the media. I just got my media page done, so
Okay.
you're one of the first
Well,
to interview me. I was on a podcast or IG live
yeah.
yesterday, so
Well,
it is groundbreaking, but
what's interesting is you're an example of kingdom wealth. I wanna make a lot of money, but I wanna make a
yeah.
lot of money for what I so you I love that. Do you know that? You are such an example. And I understand perfection.
Aw.
It's not just as much perfection as you don't want anything to taint the message that's in your heart. So
Right.
I
Right.
applaud you. I'm so excited. Now, so
Well, the saying that God blesses us so we can bless others, right?
truly,
That's my motto, and that's,
truly.
what I really believe in, so
So beautiful. So now, are you at the point of, well, on this show notes, if you're listening, we'll definitely put some links that are available. But
Yeah.
are you at that place now where you can share some links?
Oh, yeah, for sure, yeah, you can go to textpledge.us, learn about our mission and our project. You can
Yeah,
s
say
you
that
can
again.
download the smart
TextPledge,
card to get all those numbers.
TextPledge.com. I have checked that out. It's very professional. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
It's
interrupt.
Oh, textpledge.us. We don't own the .com yet. Hopefully, we will soon. Um, so yeah, textpledge.us. We are on the socials, TikTok,
Hi.
Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, all of those.
Places.
Yeah, and our app will be
Yeah.
available soon. So,
Oh, you're gonna
and we
have
can't wait to incorporate AI in it. We were just
yes.
talking
We're gonna have another
about the
interview
AI.
just about AI with Naomi. So,
Yeah.
that's exciting. Let me just ask you a little AI question. How much of AI did you use as you were developing your material? Did you use any, or were you still just testing
No.
out?
Well, I did ask our curriculum coordinator. She said that she used a couple little things for the high school project, but
Okay.
not much. So
That's pretty
I can't
amazing.
wait to like
Yeah.
upload our documents, create a robot and all these cool
Yeah.
things and get it, kind of experiment with it.
I can
But
see you having a bot where if the youth has any question, boom, it's gonna spit out the answer. That's exciting.
right. Yeah.
So
Yeah. We're excited.
textpledge.us. Now,
Yes.
I just gotta tell you, how do you feel at this point? Looking back at the travail of your soul and your mind,
hmm
what kind of feelings do you have now? Do you just have pure anticipation or what?
I do have a little anticipation, just getting it out there, getting it visible to everyone. But I have a lot of gratitude again,
Mm,
because I wouldn't have done all of this if it weren't for a great team of people behind me.
wow.
So, I don't take, yeah, I was the, inspiration and the developer in the beginning, but now I have a great team of people behind me that are really
That's awesome.
pushing for it as well. So,
So is this something that we can put on our websites too as either promoting it or I mean, is there
yeah.
like
Yeah, you can.
something
You can put your
HTML
link.
or a
Yeah, you
link?
can.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, you can put that you're a supporter of us. You believe in what we're doing, our cause. If parents want to get involved, they'll be able to download our books or buy them on
Okay.
Amazon.
Okay.
We encourage that schools register to
No,
get involved.
no doubt.
So, just do what you can to help students out.
And that's all available on textpledge.us. The
Yeah,
ability
yeah,
to take your link and that's
yeah, yeah.
something I hope you just go through the rounds of podcasts and publicity because this is truly something that is a great
Thanks.
need. And I like it. You said, "Hey,
It
I
is a
didn't do
great
any
need.
government support. I want to make sure it was done and right."
Right.
And even the curriculum, I want to control the curriculum. We're not going to be talking about this way out stuff. So, oh man, woo!
Yeah.
I want to shout it from the mountain. I want to put it on my website. I want to put it wherever and definitely give you some. Oh, wow. So,
Yeah.
speaking of that, what would be the best thing? Someone's listening to this podcast or they're watching us live. Hello, live. What would be like the best thing to begin from a parent's perspective? Let's just do the parents.
Okay. So if your student owns a smartphone, you can go to textpledge.us and download our crisis card. That way, you know that your student has all of the emergency hotlines that they're ever going to need in a crisis situation. We all know that the brain acts differently when it's in crisis. It's to fear, fight, flight, or fawn. And so, we really need to make sure our students have everything that they're needing if they're in a crisis situation. The brain doesn't stop developing until age 26, and sometimes they can make hasty decisions when they're in crisis that they're going to regret later. So, our goal is to make sure they have everything they need to be in a crisis in if they're in a crisis situation. The next thing you can do is to get your school involved. Let them know about our project and what we're doing. And all anyone has to do is send us an email at admin@textpledge.us, and we will get you all the support that you need. Parents, you can download the books as well if you want to teach your kids at home or wherever. Just it's a way to slow down the brain and to educate students on some of the things that are going on in
Yeah.
society.
I like the example you gave me when we were talking about this at the mastermind. You said, let's say a kid runs his car through a tree, and all of a sudden,
Mhm.
all those cortisol and all the stuff in the brain just goes off,
Yeah.
and they don't know what to do. And even if just
Mhm.
to be able to administer, or maybe he's like, wait a minute, mom downloaded this text pledge thing. Let me see,
Mhm.
I don't know. I just think of a lot of different ways that this could really help. And I like the thought that you got it into schools. I would love to see some school have a class
Mhm.
that's all it is about. If you
Yeah.
want to get your school involved, remember it's admin@textpledge.us. I'm sending these in the notes. Get your school involved. Admin at
Mhm.
textpledge.us. And I like what you said. The brain, when you know it, when there's a
Yeah.
severe trauma, I know
Mhm.
that 'cause I've been having great neuropsychotherapy for trauma. There's so much that you get stored in the body, and you need, like the workbook, you need something, and really
Right.
someone maybe. So I can see this. This is what my vision is for it. That I'll just speak as a prophetic. Is
Yeah.
I can see school counselors having this
Yeah.
material.
Oh,
That's why when you say
absolutely.
get your school involved, get your counselor involved. The more
Yeah.
she's at the ground roots of this,
Mhm.
I believe it can explode because it's such a need. Mental
It
health, trauma health for
Mhm.
young people. In fact, Naomi, I was just talking to my daughter, who's 25 now, and
Mhm.
she's really learning about the trauma she went through as a child, and now being able to work through it and process it and realize, oh, I've been labeled this, but I'm not that. Label is
Right.
disabling, as my friend says. And to see now she's 25.
Mhm.
I think, what if she had this material when she's 15 or 16?
I know.
Think
I
about
know.
that. And
Yes.
I think you can uh, I think you can, when you say mental health, I think most of the time you're like, okay, that is trauma. And we live in a traumatic world,
Mhm.
but
We
the
do.
traumas the youth face are different than
It's
when I
so
was
much
a
more.
child. Yeah.
Yes.
And
Each of our grade level materials have a specific book on mental health
oh, that's
and how
awesome.
important it is. So,
Yeah.
just everything affects our mental health. And if we're not taking care of that first, we're
Wow.
really suffering. So,
Yeah. I just so know that now after losing my husband and then going and really not thinking I was doing okay, but really not really realizing the mental capacity of what that was. And the 26 years of marriage were tough too. So, I mean, it's
yeah.
good for youth, but it's not bad for some
For
adults.
adults too. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
But I love
Yeah.
your heart. I love that you're really, and I know you're not just sitting on this. You're working on it, and you're working on some other things to make it all the more sharper as it goes along the way. And I just
Yeah.
applaud you for that. So, what would you
Thank
say?
you.
Any final thoughts? What would you say
So,
to a
for any
parent?
to a parent, you know, as we approach the holidays, it can be a little bit of a stressor. And I'm going to say something that I said yesterday on someone's Instagram live is that, we all grow through different journeys. And just keep an eye on what your kids are, doing and getting themselves involved with. If they tell you that they don't feel comfortable with a certain situation, just let them know it's okay, just to, remove themselves, right? Because, sometimes kids cannot be the nicest. It's our job to remind each other to be kind.
Wow.
And there's a lot of bullying and things that go on right now. So we just really have to remind our kids that it's
Mm.
okay and they're valued beyond measure. So,
That's a message. That's a message for today. Wow.
yeah,
That's good.
thank you so much. Thanks for
Yeah.
having me.
So textpledge.us is really the main. There's no phone. The phone numbers are all logged on there now for the
Yeah, if you
crisis.
click on the crisis card,
Okay.
you'll be able to see all of
Crisis
the
card. I'm
phone
gonna write that
numbers.
down.
Mhm.
That's where they'll get at. And you got an app. Whoo! We're gonna have to
The
do
app
another.
is not finished yet. It should
Yeah,
be
but
this
it's
week.
when it
So,
is. Oh
yeah.
wow. Oh,
Yeah.
I just speak blessings. I pray more doors really open right now for you. Just talk it up on every podcast you can think of. I
Awesome.
look forward to you going on TV. I see you on Fox, CNN, really going and taking this. And the neat thing is, I know your heart's going to be able to handle it. The capacity,
Yeah.
because this is where I think some of that capacity came from Wow, who would have thought a brain injury and learning to
Mhm.
recover from that would give you, Naomi, the capacity to be a voice, a huge voice. And I
Right.
pray for your team that God will continue to bring you good people who share in your vision and don't dilute it. So I just have to speak
Oh,
that out over you, girl.
amen, sister.
Uh,
Amen. I enjoy
uh,
our friendship.
yes, you're such a dear. I look
Great
forward
person.
to seeing you at the next mastermind. So thank you so
Amen.
much. Don't go
Okay.
anywhere. Don't go anywhere. I want
I will.
to, okay. So I just wanted to say thank you for listening to the Kingdom Mentor podcast and check the show notes, please, on all of this with Naomi. And check the show notes. Naomi and I share in this really that AI is not a evil thing. You put AI in the right hands, kingdom hands, and really change could happen. So please do check out what's going on. Excuse me. You can also go to teresacroft.com/AI. So I look forward to talking to you into the next podcast, and it's going to happen. A name change is coming. Thanks so much for listening. I'll talk to you again.